All right, so lastly, let's just talk about the finale, because next week is the season finale. And there's a lot in play, of course. What are your sort of biggest expectations for the season finale?
I think Dany departs for Westeros for show at the end of this season. That could even be the last shot for me. I think we're going to see her fleet departing. You know, the synopsis for this episode did tell us Euron will pop back up. So maybe we'll see whatever his big plan is. But I definitely think this is the season where Dany at least heads to Westeros. How about for you?
Yeah, so I'm curious about that. There's still kind of the weird Euron, like he was mentioned in this episode, but will we actually see him again? Will he come into play? So part of me wonders if she'll actually like leave or just be primed to leave. My main thing is I feel like one way or the other, and probably with Wildfire, it's time to end King's Landing maybe in a way that we've never seen. And you know, we talked about how King's Landing wasn't really as exciting as it used to be this season, and now we're excited by the idea of Cersei burning that mother to the ground. You know? And I think maybe the Sparrow story kind of needs to come to an end. I think it's time for that to wrap up, and the Wildfire is the most, the biggest way that we're seeing, and I think it's going to be the way. But I think we're going to see closure in King's Landing in a tangible way.
And
Wildfire.
adding on to that, I definitely think gold will be his shroud for Tom and Baratheon the week. I don't see him making it out of this season alive. But on the other side of the world, we better finally get R plus L equals J. Like, I really think we're gonna find out what was in the tower with Bran.
Right, but Bran, it looks like he's back in the finale. So yeah, will he and thus we get wrap up on that flashback? I think it is time. I think a lot of people, and I think it would make sort of a lot of sense with what this season has been about as far as Jon Snow's return and sort of his even rising more in prominence.
Because what comes next for him?
Right. If we get that. We also didn't even mention how this episode had, we mentioned in passing, you did mention, but it's like the fact that Davos now, has the sort of the smoking gun or the smoking little animal.
Stag.
He's going to confront Melisandre. I don't see them both making it out of that alive.
Ooh.
I do wonder if we'll see sort of. Although I thought either Davos or Tormund were going to get killed in this episode, and they both survived. So who knows?
I was very happy that they both survived.
I was too. But especially because of the Bran Tormund. But I am. Yes, I do. I wonder how the Davos Melisandre sort of confrontation will go. But I do think maybe one of them's going to be taken out by the end of it.
Do you think Dorne will show up again?
No, I mean, I don't think it can be completely ignored to the end of the series. But I feel like, it was a little awkward and funny how the premiere was like, let's get rid of this.
Yeah, trim the fat.
With some big deaths. So I don't think they're going to revisit it. I am curious, and what do you think? Do you think we're going to see Arya again in the finale, or that her proclaiming her name, that's enough for her end of her season story arc, and we can just see her again next year?
I think that could be the end for her. I also think it could be the end for the Hound, Bran, Jaime even. Like, we don't necessarily need to check in with those characters again. I think they got a good final beat, and there are these other characters that have bigger moments that I want to see paid off.
Yeah, Jaime is. I agree with you on most of those. I don't think we might not see Arya again this season, because that's a good way to end her season, even though it took way too long to get there. She's reclaimed her name. That can be it for this year. I do wonder about Jaime, especially. I think maybe because I was so disappointed in sort of the whole Blackfish River Run arc, I kind of would like to see him again, and who knows if that's him showing up to watch King's Landing burn to the ground or not. But
my last big prediction is a big group that we have ignored for the past few episodes. I think the White Walkers come back as a big reminder that there's another threat out there, and I think that also could be the way that we end this season, is just them at the wall.
I think there's a very good chance of that, and I think with Bran coming back too, they've got to kind of tie into the White Walkers of it all and remind you, here's our big bad. We got Randall Ramsay, but we got other things to deal with. So those are our thoughts of the season finale next week. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to die? And what characters will appear or won't appear? Let us know in the comments. We've got plenty more coverage leading up to the finale, plenty of coverage after the finale for all things Game of Thrones. Keep it here at IGN.